anytime somebody can definitely stay true to a vintage sound. And it feels like they've done that with this definite 80s synth vibe that they've got going on. But then to take it one step further and with the music video also very much stay true to that era, I just thought was tremendous, and they did a great job. I loved everything about it. Of course, the stop motion animation was great. It's always fun to watch that. And then the added layer of having it all look like a VHS playback, I thought was on point.
Nostalgically vintage claymation format. It is set in 1986 and is about a kind of vigilante rescuing a damsel in distress. There seems to be a kind of metaphor, of course, because when the mission is described to him, it is said that he is to rescue a flower, and it's clear that she is meant to represent ultimately this flower, so the sense of purity and perhaps virginity. Perhaps she's a quite young and innocent girl that he is meant to rescue, and he puts on this kind of monstrous face in order to confront these villains and defeat them. And I think that may speak to as well the idea that sometimes we have to dig into an evil within ourselves, or something monstrous within ourselves, in order to face a monster, in order to face evil. We must tap into the darker parts of ourselves in order to accomplish that. And I thought that was a great point that I got across.
I loved this 90s home video quality. It felt very reminiscent of like Pee-wee's Playhouse, but with a more sinister edge. The soundtrack was amazing. The claymation, the hand-drawn backdrops, the little signs, speech bubbles, and that VCR static quality throughout worked really well in that stylish nod to self-creation. But it also was a great contrast for like the pretty intense gore and violence, but you're like rooting for this guy in the mask, so you didn't mind so much. But it's quite funny to see such intense violence with a little claymation figure. But it captured the genre really well.
I really enjoyed the claymation style of this. I found that it really softened the graphic kind of violent parts a bit, which I think would have been really jarring if it was real live action. But it made it more palatable to watch, for sure. I know I'm like pretty sensitive to like graphic stuff. And I think that also helps soften what is a very heavy, tense subject matter. So I thought it was like really effective in that sense. It was a very interesting way to tell a very heavy subject matter. And I think that it really hit the mark in terms of what I presume the filmmakers were trying to hit.
Really interesting piece of filmmaking. The stop motion thing was really powerful. It's very graphic. It's kind of shocking at times, and definitely very visceral. So I think that's what the filmmaker was going for, and I think it was very effective.
I thought the claymation was so well done. I love claymation personally, and I understand that there's so much work that has to go into it, and it really does have to be like a labor of love. But I thought it was so well done, so it definitely made me happy seeing, some claymation happen. I thought the music was super interesting, and like it really, for me, what contrasted to what was going on the screen, because the music was very like light and almost, not like quite ethereal. That's like not quite the right word, but it was very like light. Music was the kind of tone that I was getting from just the music, and then you have it paired with all these great colors, but if you're paying attention to the actual scene that's unfolding and like what story they had set up, like it's a very intense story, it's a very dark story. So to pair those two together, I thought was a really interesting choice.
This one's really interesting. I love the animation style. I think that it was my favorite part, just because of how original it was and how, you know, crude and like rudimentary it is. It like kind of like I feel like that was intentional, and I really liked it, because usually, you know, you see this like crazy intricate, you know, modeling that's being done by like 18 people, and it's extremely, I don't know, like precise, and this one is like you know, it's a little bit more slapped together. It looks like it's like, you know, like they made the dolls by just kind of like rubbing them together into just long like logs of clay, but it was good. I really liked that aspect of it, and you know, the use of like a VHS kind of thing was interesting as well.
The intro was very clever. Pick, lay, and grow flower shop calling. I love the song about 2 minutes in when B in the leather jacket starts to fight the two goons. The film packs a lot of action and a lot of punch from an unsung hero who will stop at nothing to preserve this young girl's flower. I felt the storytelling was well satisfied, and our hero emerged victorious in the end, which was essential. And then a unique interpretation of the world of sex criminals, and a unique style of claymation as well.